So today we're going to talk about Cyborg Manifesto, an essay written by Donna Haraway. Donna Haraway is a professor at the University of California. She teaches a history of consciousness and feminist studies. Haraway wrote many books bringing together science, technology, and feminism, and she wrote this article in 1985. So before we get started, we should actually define what feminism is. Feminism is not only the belief that genders are equal, but also regardless of age, social status, social class, race, species even. These are all just equal, and about bringing rights and awareness to these minorities. We should probably define what a cyborg is, considering that is the main title of her essay. A cyborg is a human and machine hybrid. She defines humans as becoming cyborgs by the end of the late 20th century. She reaches this conclusion by breaking down three main boundaries. The first boundary breakdown that Haraway describes is between human beings and animals, and we can already see this with animal rights activists in this believing that animals have as much rights as humans, and also just the idea that really what is the difference that separates us humans from animals, other animals. The second breakdown, or the second boundary that she breaks down, is between organisms and machines. Haraway describes cyborgs as caricatures, not copies, of humans. She also poses a question, who will cyborgs become? The last boundary that she breaks down is between the physical and non-physical. She describes the non-physical as a sort of energy, sun, light, entity that we can see but we can't touch. She believes that cyborgs can be dangerous because they are invisible and it's harder for us to conceptualize them. So with these three main points, he's just trying to establish a new thought that not everything is in a binary, and it's not always an us versus them. A lot of things overlap and intersect, and that a lot of things are actually very fluid and run into each other and are not very exclusive. Haraway describes two perspectives of a cyborg world. The first one being a very military-driven, apocalyptic, very masculine war zone that is very negative and sees cyborgs as the enemy and our humans being vanquished completely. The main trouble with cyborgs, of course, is that they are the illegitimate offspring of militarism and patriarchal capitalism, not to mention state socialism. So here Haraway is using the same language as McLuhan and drawing back on these military analogies. The second perspective of the cyborg world she describes as a very, there are no longer any boundaries between genders or between species for that matter. It's described as humans being able to work also in harmony with animals and machines. However, Haraway states that neither of these perspectives is completely true. In order to really find the truth, you have to look at both. She believes if you only look at one perspective, you are going to blindside yourself. So, at some point, Haraway starts describing a cyborg like a monster, and I took this as kind of like how Mary Shelley used Frankenstein's monster in a sense that it's not really a monster, it's just something that's so different from society that people make it out to be this huge thing, but really it's kind of an innocent thing that just has to learn how to adapt to our world. She also describes fractured identities, and a fractured identity is just the fact that you don't ever belong to just one thing. In fact, you are categorized many different ways. So you can be not only male or female, you're also white, black, you're also either like Italian, Japanese. You have many labels to yourself. And then this huge quote is just talking about how what even defines these labels that we make ourselves, like what really defines a female as a female. Once you start breaking these down, you can start getting into other things, other boundary breakdowns, like for instance, what even constitutes as your body. Why don't your thoughts expand past your body? What happens when part of your body is gone and you replace it with a robot? Are you less human? How do we categorize this? And she uses an example of a salamander for this. If a salamander, especially if we use that cyborgs, it'll be more about regeneration rather than rebirth. Because if you cut off your arm, you don't grow a whole new body, you just grow a new arm. It's not one part of you goes back stronger than other. You're not creating a whole new identity. It's just a part of you is changing. And she believes then too that cyborgs eventually what they're going to do to really seize their thing is they're going to need to be able to write and really communicate, because that's how the world is. Shows that you're educated. She's an example of African American women. And just so in summary, this whole article, she is just trying to break down, get ourselves out of the categories and binaries that society has set up and start thinking about things in a more fluid and dynamic manner.